Any law should come with a built-in sunset provision, where laws don't just automatically live forever.
Elon Musk's mission for a sunset clause is an example of how he aims to shape policy on Earth, X, and in space. A sunset clause is built into a law that says it will automatically expire after a certain period, such as 5 or 10 years, unless reapproved by a governing body. The goal is to prevent outdated laws from remaining in effect long after their usefulness has passed, letting them be adjusted or removed as needed. This reduction and simplification of the legal system mirrors the way Elon builds cars and spaceships. In a star-based tour with Everyday Astronaut, Musk outlined his 5-step process. Here are the first 3 steps. 1. Make your requirements less dumb. 2. Try to delete the part or process. If you are not adding things back in 10% of the time, then you are not deleting enough. 3. Simplify or optimize. Do not optimize something that should not exist. The same can be said about laws, such as Elon's battle with the Federal Aviation Administration over SpaceX's launch schedule. Musk has been vocal about his belief that the FAA's outdated regulations are slowing down space exploration, an area where rapid progress is essential, especially when other countries are fighting in the same race. Musk is a strong advocate for the idea that laws should have an expiration date. In his view, laws should be harder to create but easier to remove, enabling flexibility and innovation within society. This is in contrast to traditional governance, where laws, once passed, tend to remain indefinitely until specific long-winded action is taken to repeal them. Many laws currently on the books were passed decades or even centuries ago and no longer serve a useful purpose. In Quitman, Georgia, it is illegal for chickens to cross the road, an old regulation when livestock management was a pressing concern. Many states still have blue laws, which are restrictions on certain activities on Sundays, often tied to religious observance. In Indiana, car dealerships cannot sell vehicles on Sundays. A sunset clause would streamline the legal system, reducing the burden on courts and regulatory agencies that must interpret and enforce outdated laws. It would also make it easier for new industries such as AI, robotics, and cloning to emerge without being hampered by irrelevant regulations. Elon Musk's political involvement has ramped up recently as he campaigns alongside the former president. Musk's sunset clause advocacy aligns with Trump's agenda of reducing government overreach. Elon has also expressed admiration for Argentina's President Javier Milei, which could provide insight into how he might collaborate with a new administration. Milei, a libertarian economist, has captured global attention by slashing the size of his government and cutting unnecessary regulations. If Musk were to work with a future administration, the sunset clause of having an expiration date could become a requirement for all new laws. And would this apply to setting up a colony on Mars? Speaking about a future Mars colony, Musk envisions Martian laws are ruled under a form of direct democracy. He sees the inhabitants of Mars having the opportunity to vote directly on key issues. For a law to be passed, at least 60% of voters must approve it. And for a law to be removed, only 40% of the population needs to agree, and the law can be repealed. This is a direct democracy, where the people vote, giving the population more control over the legislation and ensuring that laws do not outlive their usefulness if they no longer serve the colony's needs. For example, laws that are essential in the early stages of colonization, such as those governing resource management or population control, might become obsolete as the colony grows and stabilizes.
Direct democracy, where it's slightly harder to put laws in place than to take them away, and where laws don't just automatically live forever.
These space colonies will be run by a digital direct democracy, allowing all colonists to vote on policy changes and key new features instantaneously. A Mars colony should be governed under its own laws.
If it's too round on the top, it needs to be pointy.
Separate from Earth's regulations, especially considering that space treaties, like the Outer Space Treaty of 1967, don't fully account for the realities of a large-scale human presence on another planet. Future settlers of Mars should establish their own legal framework and even reject Earth-based legal constraints, promoting self-determination for the Martian population. Embracing a frontier mentality, where the needs and conditions on Mars would drive the creation of practical, adaptable laws that cater to the challenges of a space-based society. Back on Earth, government agencies and policies should regularly be evaluated and automatically lapse unless proven necessary, calling for less bureaucratic stagnation and more dynamism, especially now during the rising times of AI. Musk's proposal speaks to his broader philosophy on governance. It should be adaptive, flexible, and, most importantly, driven by the will of the people, believing that societies, whether on Earth, X, or Mars, need to remain dynamic and responsive to change.